steal some.
But what if we get caught? We'll get arrested and... Hey guys, what are you doing?
Just smoking a joint. You want a hit?
Yeah, right. You guys can go to jail and get if you want.
Tom, did you erase all my MP3s?
Hey, file sharing is a crime, and I'm not gonna be so you can listen to Usher.
You know, Tom, this whole thing is really causing both of us to miss out on a lot in life.
But Tom didn't care what he was missing out on. Well into adulthood, Tom still lived his life around the fear of that fear, perhaps more than any other factor, made him the man he is today. Tom believed in order. He obeyed every traffic law. He had never as much as broken the speed limit.
You drive like an old...
Tom grew up to be a criminal prosecutor, which ironically enough meant his job was to send many black men to the very fate he most feared.
For the crime of selling 4 bootleg copies of Soul Plane, the defendant is sentenced to 2 weeks imprisonment. He'll be remanded...
No! Don't send me to prison, please! Please don't send me to prison! I don't want to be...
And Tom knew firsthand that a black man didn't have to do much to go to prison.
You have the right to remain silent.
Sometimes he didn't have to do anything at all.
Against you in a court of law. You have the right to speak to an attorney and to have an attorney present during any questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer...
And in other news, city police are reporting tonight that they have arrested a suspect in connection with the murder of Antoine Michaels, a 17-year-old who was apparently killed over a game of Madden 2006. The police are not releasing the name of the suspect, who is a black male, approximately blah blah blah.
The Boondocks has always been a show that cloaks heavy truths in sharp humor, disarming its audience with laughter before forcing them to confront uncomfortable realities. In one scene, Tom Dubois panics and blurts out, "File sharing is a crime, and I'm not gonna be so you can listen to Usher." On the surface, it's an absurd and exaggerated outburst, the kind of moment that catches you off guard with its sheer intensity. But beneath the joke lies a raw and very real fear, Tom's instinctive terror of incarceration. For him, the idea of prison is so unbearable that even the smallest brush with illegality triggers visions of ruin. This moment does more than parody Tom's character. It highlights how deeply ingrained the fear of legal trouble is for some people, especially in communities where the justice system feels less like protection and more like a looming threat. It's this reflexive dread that sets the stage for a larger cultural code, one that runs parallel to Tom's fear, but operates on a very different logic, the unwritten rule of no snitching. In its simplest form, no snitching means never cooperating with law enforcement, never giving names, never testifying, never betraying those entangled in crime. The phrase's more menacing version, "snitches get stitches," captures the weight of its enforcement, but the rule's roots are deeper than street slogans. It emerges from the convict code, the moral order that once governed life behind prison walls. Incarcerated men, united by their mistrust of guards and the system that confined them, turned inward, choosing loyalty to one another over cooperation with authority. Survival in prison demanded silence, and silence became honor. What's striking is how this code refused to stay confined. Over decades, it seeped into the streets, carried out by returning inmates and embraced by neighborhoods that had their own reasons to distrust the law. By the 1980s and 1990s, amid the rise of mass incarceration, the crack epidemic, and heavy-handed policing, the no-snitching ethos had taken hold in many low-income, predominantly black and brown communities. Here, silence wasn't just about protecting criminals, it was also about survival. Anyone who spoke to the police risked violent retaliation, not only from gangs or dealers, but sometimes even from neighbors who saw cooperation with law enforcement as betrayal. The logic was painful but consistent. If the police had long ignored your suffering, harassed your youth, or treated your neighborhood like enemy territory, why would you trust them with your protection now? To snitch was to side with an institution that had shown you little mercy. In that light, no snitching wasn't just a street rule, it was an act of resistance, a bitter shield against a system that many felt was never built to protect them in the first place. The historical roots of the no snitching code are layered, stretching beyond the confines of prisons or street corners. One of the most overlooked chapters emerged not from the criminal underworld, but from political struggle. During the Black Power era, silence became a form of resistance. Columnist Jamala Rogers recalls that the first widespread no-snitching campaign grew in direct defiance of the FBI's notorious COINTELPRO program. In the 1960s and 70s, federal agents infiltrated and sabotaged radical black organizations by planting informants in their ranks. The betrayal was devastating. Most famously, a paid informant was instrumental in setting up Black Panther leader Fred Hampton, paving the way for the police raid that ended his life in 1969. For activists, this betrayal was unforgettable. To snitch meant more than breaking street loyalty. It meant endangering revolutionaries like Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale, leaders who represented hope for a people long denied justice. Refusing to cooperate with hostile authorities became a matter of survival, but also of principle. Not snitching was a way to shield community leaders from a government intent on silencing them.
In addition to falsely incriminating Hampton, the FBI had begun to infiltrate the Black Panther Party with their own informants, including the one man who would ultimately be the demise of Fred Hampton, William O'Neal. You see, what's interesting about William O'Neal was that despite being a black man present in Chicago during a time of great political change and revolution, O'Neal was apathetic towards it all. In his own words, "I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood, and I had very little idea of the politics. I was apolitical. I knew nothing of the Black Panther Party. In fact, the day I joined, I was pretty sure it was just another gang." Well, as he quickly found out, the Panthers were much more than just any other gang. Popularized in the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, O'Neal's involvement in the downfall of the Panther Party has largely painted him as a villain in the eyes of history and within the black community. After having his role in the murder revealed in 1973, O'Neal entered witness protection from the FBI in order to safeguard him from those angry at his betrayal. Eventually, even he himself could not deal with the guilt. For the first and only time ever, O'Neal went on air in 1990 to speak about his role in the murder and betrayal of Fred Hampton. Take a look at the interview. The look on his face says it all.
He was a top man in the state of Illinois at that time.
What did you think about the Panthers at that time?
It was William who had provided the FBI with a detailed layout of the Black Panther apartment, and it was William who had drugged Fred that night so he would be incapacitated and unable to fight back. And so, when the Chicago Police Department had busted down the door, they knew exactly where to go. Official reports of that night state that the Panthers had participated in a shootout with police officers, and that the murder of Fred Hampton wasn't premeditated, but detailed accounts from that night paint a different story. According to a ballistics report conducted in the days following the murder, police entering the apartment had fired over 99 shots, with only one shot of gunfire returned by the Panthers. Police officers initially denied entering into Hampton's bedroom and murdering him, but later, evidence was uncovered that Officer James "Gloves" Davis had fired a bullet from his carbine straight into the chest of Fred Hampton, contradicting his earlier testimony. As this news of Fred's death was relayed over the police radio, the downtown dispatcher reported hearing cheers from police cars scattered over the city. A faceless policeman said into his radio, "That's when to get them, when they're in their beds." The lies of the FBI were further exposed in the aftermath of the killings, when it was revealed that the FBI had colluded with the Cook County State Attorney and had continuously withheld critical government documentation from the legal proceedings that followed. Regardless, the damage had already been done. Fred Hampton, once the charismatic and charming leader of the Illinois Black Panther Party, had been silenced by government forces.
As time moved forward, this mistrust was only reinforced by the trajectory of American policing itself. The institution's roots were never neutral. Historians remind us that early police forces evolved from slave patrols designed to hunt down escaped enslaved people and enforce racial hierarchies. After slavery ended, the same structures were adapted to uphold Jim Crow laws, keeping black communities segregated and subdued through intimidation and violence. Policing was never simply about protection, it was about control. That pattern continued well into the late 20th century. From stop and frisk to racial profiling to the devastating war on drugs, black neighborhoods bore the brunt of punitive policies that blurred the line between crime prevention and outright harassment. In many cities, police became less visible as guardians and more visible as occupiers, patrolling streets like hostile territory. As one human rights scholar put it, police were used to provide security for white communities, keeping black communities intimidated and segregated. Against such a backdrop, the very idea of turning to law enforcement was tainted. For generations, calling the police could mean exposing your community or yourself to even greater harm.
I was seeing little stories in the paper about people getting arrested on I-5 in routine traffic stops with enormous quantities of drugs in their car. So I asked my friend at the Justice Department, I said, how do you explain this? And he said, well, they're racial profiling. He said, they've got a profile, and if somebody fits the profile, they dream up a reason to pull the car over and search it.
Your license plate's a little loose on the back. You can see, what's that? It's loose? Yeah, it's kind of flopping in the wind. You got license and registration there?
It was part of a national program called Operation Pipeline that the DEA has been running very quietly since the 80s.
Of course color plays into the game. Add to that baggy jeans, add to that way you chill every day, whether it's on the corner and whatnot, what activities going on. I mean, it's ammo for the police to just stop you based on just that, okay? And then you go from there for all kinds of different questions that come up that escalates to another level and another level and another level.
Within this environment, the no snitching ethic hardened into something more than defiance. It became common sense. Even among those living outside political activism, the code of the street demanded silence. Criminologists have documented that habitual offenders and even ordinary residents in high-crime neighborhoods often refused to call the police when victimized. The reasons were both practical and deeply cultural. Police were not trusted, and cooperation was seen as betrayal. Worse still, snitching carried the constant threat of retaliation. Researchers found that most offenders feared violent payback if they ever broke the code, a fear well-founded in communities where cycles of vengeance were common. This is why the code endures. It is built on two unshakable pillars, loyalty and fear. Loyalty to one's people, whether activists resisting state repression or neighbors wary of outsiders who cannot be trusted, and fear of the very real consequences, ostracization, violence, even death that follow those who break the silence. Together, these forces have transformed no snitching from a prison code into a cultural reality, one that cannot be understood without reckoning with centuries of betrayal, policing, and survival in America. These historical forces help explain why the no-snitch rule still carries such force in many inner-city communities today. At its core, it reflects a profound tension between loyalty and justice, a moral crossroads where survival instincts, cultural bonds, and systemic mistrust collide. On one hand, silence is framed as loyalty. Refusing to snitch becomes a badge of honor, a way of privileging kinship, friendship, or neighborhood ties over allegiance to the state. Law professor Brett Asbury has argued that in black communities, this silence can be understood as a natural extension of the innate human aspiration to be loyal. From this perspective, refusing to cooperate is neither irrational nor inherently immoral, it's simply a choice of allegiance. In nearly every society, human beings instinctively side with the familiar over the outsider. In the context of the inner city, the familiar means family, peers, neighbors, the people who share your daily reality. The outsider, meanwhile, is often the police, an institution historically distrusted and frequently seen as an adversary rather than a protector. To break silence is to break trust with those closest to you, while silence itself is recast as solidarity. Many residents, even victims of crime, understand that cooperating with police comes with real risks and few protections. Witnesses are often left exposed, their safety uncertain once testimony is given. The Police Executive Research Forum found that a staggering 86% of surveyed law enforcement leaders acknowledged the presence of a code of silence, with many specifically pointing to the stop snitching culture as a barrier to justice. In neighborhoods where retaliation is not just a threat but a routine reality, the choice to stay quiet becomes less about abstract principles and more about sheer survival. The message is clear: cooperate, and you may not live to regret it. This climate also creates contradictions within the justice system itself. Prosecutors often rely on informants by offering reduced sentences or other incentives. While such bargains can encourage cooperation, they also foster widespread skepticism. As one defense attorney famously put it, incentives can lead some witnesses not only to sing, but to compose a grim acknowledgement that the desperate may fabricate testimony to secure their own freedom. For many watching from the outside, this blurs the line between truth and manipulation, further eroding faith in the fairness of the system. Together, these dynamics, loyalty to one's community, fear of retaliation, and distrust of law enforcement cement no snitching as more than a rule. It is a lived social contract. It operates wordlessly, almost instinctively. Protect your own, shield your circle, do not give outsiders leverage over your world. Yet this very code produces sharp contradictions. In cases of violent crime, silence can feel like betrayal, robbing victims and families of the justice they desperately seek. But to those who abide by the code, the calculation is painfully different. Breaking it means risking your safety, your standing, and your very life in a system they believe is already stacked against them. In this way, the no snitching ethos is both a shield and a chain. It protects those within the community from outside interference, but it can also bind them into silence that deepens cycles of violence and mistrust. And it is precisely within that paradox between solidarity and justice, preservation and truth, that the power of the code continues to endure.
Are NWA really the bad boys of rap, or they bad rap because they speak the truth about streets of LA? Check out this controversial scene in their video, Straight Outta Compton.
Going off on everybody like that, with bass that's dropping in your face.
This tension between loyalty and justice plays out most vividly in hip-hop, a culture where art, image, and real-life danger often collide. Beginning in the early 2000s, the phrase "stop snitching" moved from whispered neighborhood warnings into the spotlight of popular culture. It appeared in rap lyrics, music videos, and even DVDs. Most infamously, a 2004 Street DVD titled "Stop Snitchin'" that circulated in Baltimore, warning young people that any cooperation with law enforcement was betrayal. The message was clear: silence was not just survival, but status. Hip-hop, with its roots in marginalized communities, amplified this ethos, turning what began as an informal street code into a cultural slogan. Yet when these ideals met real courtrooms, the tension proved harder to navigate. Take the case of Tekashi 6ix9ine. In 2018, the New York rapper affiliated with the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods was arrested on charges ranging from racketeering to violent crime. Facing the possibility of life in prison, he made a choice that would redefine his career. He pleaded guilty and became a government witness. His testimony against 9 Trey members earned him a dramatically reduced sentence. In court, Judge Paul Engelmeyer acknowledged the irony, scolding him for his crimes while commending his cooperation as courageous. Yet outside the courtroom, the hip-hop world responded with ridicule and condemnation. In the eyes of many, Hernandez had traded the code for his own survival. His reputation never recovered. For some fans, he was a pariah. For others, he embodied the hypocrisy of an industry that glamorizes crime, but punishes honesty when consequences arrive. The story unfolded differently, though no less painfully, in Atlanta, with Young Thug and his YSL collective. Charged under sweeping RICO laws, prosecutors painted Thug as the leader of a criminal organization. While Thug himself has fiercely denied ever cooperating with authorities, the specter of snitching has haunted his case nonetheless. His longtime associate and protege accepted an offered plea in 2022, admitting no guilt but accepting a conviction to avoid a lengthy trial. Although Gunna insisted he never testified or named anyone, his release was enough for fans and commentators to brand him a rat. The damage was swift, rumors swirled, online debate erupted, and even Thug's loyalty to him was questioned. Their lawyers publicly insisted the bond remained unbroken. It's love, always, Gunna declared in 2023, but the shadow of betrayal lingered. In hip-hop, even the rumor of snitching can become a scar.
Please state after each statement whether or not you agree or acknowledge that statements are true, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I became affiliated with YSL around 2016. Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens?
Yes, ma'am.
YSL is a music label and a gang, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Yes, ma'am.
You were present when law enforcement officers stopped a vehicle in which you were present along with Jeffrey Williams, wherein hydrocodone, methamphetamines, and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you acknowledge the following statement? I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL the game to the detriment of my community. YSL as a game must end. Is that your statement or acknowledgement?
Yes.
These cases illuminate the uneasy marriage between hip-hop's mythologized street code and the realities of the justice system. For Hernandez, cooperation brought freedom but branded him forever as the ultimate snitch. For Gunna, silence was not enough. Just a perception of cooperation was enough to stain his image. And for Young Thug, the ordeal has shown how loyalty and disloyalty can be weaponized by courts, fans, and even the industry itself. What these stories ultimately reveal is a paradox at the heart of hip-hop and the communities it reflects. The code promises honor, solidarity, and survival, but in practice it can mean sacrificing truth, justice, or even personal safety. The music may glorify silence, but when the courtroom doors close, every artist faces the same harrowing choice: preserve loyalty at all costs, or risk being branded forever as the one who broke it. We all remember the storm that erupted around Gunna's offered plea. For many, it wasn't just a legal maneuver, it became a public trial of loyalty. Young Thug himself seemed to lead the charge, casting doubt on Gunna's integrity, hinting at betrayal, and fueling the rat label that stuck. Gunna's reputation was tarnished not just by prosecutors, but by the culture of hip-hop itself, where silence is sacred and cooperation is sin. But what happens when the accuser finds himself accused? An old police interrogation video of Young Thug resurfaced, suddenly as explosive as if it had happened yesterday. In the clip, Thug appears to reference Pee Wee Roscoe, an associate linked to the infamous 2015 shooting at Lil Wayne's tour bus. Almost instantly, the word spread like wildfire across timelines. The reaction was swift and unforgiving. Fans who once applauded Thug's loyalty pointed out his hypocrisy, pointing out that the very shadow he cast over Gunna now loomed over his own legacy. Thug, however, did not shrink from the accusation. He lashed out on social media, defiant and unbending. They didn't play my interrogation video in court because I helped my brother rat wear. For him, the video wasn't evidence of betrayal, but proof of solidarity, a gesture of protection, not treachery. He doubled down, warning critics not to conflate his actions with the dishonor he despises. Stop trying to make me one of those boys. Death before dishonor this way, kids. To reinforce his defense, he even shared a legal filing from his team that flatly rejected claims he'd made incriminating statements in a police car, dismissing the allegations as inaccurate, irrelevant, and damaging to his case. Even Pee Wee Roscoe, the very associate allegedly implicated, rushed to Thug's defense, declaring Jeff clean as Listerine, kept it silent, kept it overly real. The irony was impossible to ignore. The man who branded Gunna a snitch now found himself under the same microscope, battling the same accusations he once hurled. Fans seized on the contradiction. One viral post summed up the mood with brutal clarity. The internet crucified Gunna for snitching. We gotta keep the same energy for Young Thug.
Come to find out, him and Birdman got problems because he old. Because on the mixtape that he dropped before the album, he said on one of the songs, he was like, I don't want no problems, I just want my money. Birdman is an army, I'm a one-man army. If that coming for me, I'm going out like Tony. He said those exact words.
Who is Tony?
Tony Montana. Scarface. I know Scarface. See, he
was like, Birdman is an army.
Okay.
He said Cash Money is an army, I'm a one-man army. And if them coming for me, I'm going out like Tony.
Gotcha. Scarface, the latest scene in Scarface. Yeah.
But he also said, I don't want no problems. He said, I don't want no problems, I just want my money. So everybody caught on like, oh, you owe him. And then a couple months, about 2 or 3 months after he dropped the mixtape, you heard TMZ and all like, he's suing Birdman. Because Birdman owed him for albums, and then everybody, that was when everybody...
So this footage is from the interrogation room years ago. This is over 10 years ago. This is in 2015, I believe. This was after the Lil Wayne tour bus shot-up situation, which Pee Wee Roscoe got. Pee Wee Roscoe is a guy that he's talking about in there, and he ended up getting 20 years for this crime. 20 years. It's no joke. And it got shortened. I think he ended up doing 3, 4, maybe 5 max because something with his trial, and he's been free ever since. But Young Thug, the reason why this looks crazy, and this was brought up by Trap Lil Ross. This got resurfaced by Trap Lil Ross, and it's kind of crazy to see just quote unquote, but somebody like Traplo Ross, like a YouTuber, bring up something and then it goes nuclear. And some people are trying to say, like, people put Traplo Ross up to this. Nah, it's not true. Traplo Ross has been defending Gunna against the ratting allegations or the tag or mark or whatever you want to call it for a very long time. He's defending him constantly. So it would be no surprise that in his defense of Gunna, he's like, yo, if y'all said Gunna did this, look at what Young Thug did. And looking at what Young Thug did, this is telling. I can't say it any other way. Like, just look at this. Man, I don't even think regular civilians would be telling this much. This guy's telling them, like, yo, this guy Roscoe, he do crime, he sell weed to Wayne, he's giving them the background of the situation, he's telling them bars, he's like, nah, yo, Lil Wayne said I'm a one-man army and Birdman's an army because he's trying to get, like, he's just telling them everything. And there's so much more in the other clips.
This motherfucker from New Orleans. I'm from Atlanta. This in Atlanta, and I was in New Orleans. I said, what the fuck is so weird? This nigga now shot at this to us. Honestly, I don't know who the fuck it is. They said Roscoe, but I don't wanna block. I don't wanna, like, block out y'all case by saying Roscoe didn't do that. And knowing Roscoe, man, fuck drug. That fool. I'm like, you shot at somebody, bro? But I don't, because every day, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
So I was listening to this and I was appalled. Now the reason why I was appalled is because how are you, and it's not just because, it's because Young Thug is out here pointing out every rat. He's like, yo, Cudi a rat. Dog, Kid Cudi, and I joked about this with Kid Cudi in a previous video, but you guys know, like, I love Kid Cudi. But Kid Cudi, he went up there, he got subpoenaed to come explain the situation that happened to him with some guy that damn near, that set his car on fire, that went into his home allegedly without knowing, or without him knowing, got into this whole spat. They were about to get into a physical altercation before Diddy said, yo, it was all cool. Traumatized his dog that he said was never the same. And you know, a guy like Kid Cudi does have children, or he has a daughter, but you know, guys like Kid Cudi, their dog is for sure, he's definitely got a tiny dog, and for sure he loves him like family. So that definitely hurt him, and he has never proclaimed to be a gangster a single day in his life. And then you got Young Thug talking about, man, Cudi a rat. What? And then you got, of course, what he did with Gunna, where he was saying that, like, yo, he can't mess with Gunna anymore, which is quite understandable, to be honest. But he just became the arbiter of what is ratting and what's not ratting. And now when this comes out, I was like, yo, if you've got this in your history, how could you possibly ever open your mouth? Like, you should have just stayed quiet. And I think this is partially because Young Thug didn't drop any music. I'm keeping it real. Even the fans are like, yo, you ain't even dropping music for us. You doing all this talking. Get the hell out of here with that. But Young Thug replies to this. Eventually, he's forced to reply because this starts getting spread everywhere. Now, I will say this. Traplo Ross posted this himself. He did like 2 separate days on it. And then suddenly, you started to see it spring up on every single page. Now, obviously, I would post it. But you start seeing people like Feared Buck posting stuff like this. More, like, bigger, broader, I would say, broader outlets. Gunna's PR team, they're running promo on this, which I respect it. Go ahead and do that, because this guy blackballed you from a lot of potential collaborations. And Lil Baby is somebody that looks like a damn fool right now. We really want to hear what Ja Rule and Lil Baby has to say about this situation. But Young Thug goes on to say, scrambling. They didn't play my interrogation video in court because I helped my brother. Rat where? Hold on. What is this guy talking about? So now telling is playing an interrogation video in court. You've got to be kidding me. This is ridiculous. And man, this is outrageous. And also, Dora, who is Young Thug's sister, she's spoken a lot in the past on things to do with Young Thug, especially business as well. And she had the following to say. She says, go play in sand and stop playing blogs to try and rewrite a narrative to help you, idiot. And I think she's talking about, she posted on her story with someone that said, just by the way, I did some digging and Seti Nash paid the original person who posted it $500 to take it down so he could pretend it's new. And this is like a little bit above my pay grade. Nah, but they're trying to say that this guy reposted it as new while, like, to make it blow up again. I don't really know the situation here, but clearly she's on Young Thug's side, as she should be, as difficult as it is. But you know what they're trying to pull after this? They try to get Roscoe on. So they're flooding everybody. Like, you've got everybody giving their own take on things, including, what's his name? Thugger Daily. This was his 9/11, to be honest. But he went on to say, just heard this guy, YSL Duke said, just heard this guy say I broke his heart. A dude that was in there talking about me like a dog. We understand you told the cops that was your gun, but why tell them you gave it to me to get back at a rival, which was in my plea? Those was your words. SMH, you the weird one. I ain't see that footage till 2023, y'all. Ish broke my heart, too. And he's talking about, so Duke right here, I think he's talking about Yak Gotti. Yeah, Yak Gotti, who was one of the people that was in the YSL trial as well. Yo, YSL is in absolute shambles. And this is the thing. It's so funny because you can't even take what Young Thug says seriously, because he used to say, yo, all y'all's team is rats. I wouldn't know nothing about that. Nobody in YSL would ever tell. And then we just see person after YSL Woody. We see Gunna. We see who? The brother of Young Thug. Who was the other guy? I forgot that guy's name already. We see everybody telling. So he was wrong about all that. And then we get video footage or audio of him in this interrogation, and he just said too much. Like, and then he gets Roscoe on, and then Roscoe explains what a statement is. So let's listen to this guy.
Politicking, man. Jeff, clean as Listerine, man. Clean as Irish soap. You feel what I'm saying? I done the time. I did that. That's what you supposed to do. When you go in interrogation room, that's what you do. He told you, man, we sell the Wayne Carter weed. What the is wrong with you? You feel what I'm saying? No, a statement is this right here. Lineup selective. That's him. He did that. He didn't do that. He did what a taxpaying citizen do. A real street nigga. Kept it solid. Kept it overly real. You feel what I'm saying? Really tried to pull me out the hole. So yeah, I don't. You feel what I'm saying? Now, when it comes to the PR, now y'all don't remember when I was locked up. Now let me just show you how the PRs and the internet selective politics. You know what I mean? We're gonna keep it real. When I was locked up and Jeff was locked up, we went viral when they was like, that's the type of friend you want. He was like, man, Roscoe ain't told y'all the damn thing. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. That's the right thing. You feel what I'm saying? Like, all those, everybody is in the state room, in the interrogation room, and they gave statements. You know, we're going to throw the paperwork party tomorrow.
You notice what he said? He said he did what a tax-paying citizen do, and then he quickly switched up. Oh, he did what a real street man is supposed to do. So his brain glitched a little bit there, and we can't expect anything less, actually, from Roscoe, because this was like a little bit of a Freudian slip, as they call it. Yeah, he did what a tax-paying citizen should do, which is exactly what Kid Cudi did, which is try and keep these menaces off the streets. The tax-paying citizens, they're supposed to tell, right? So I think he just realized, like, yo, I'm defending telling right now, and then he says tax-paying citizen, and then he says, no, he did what a real street was supposed to do. Isn't it supposed to be silent?
I just beat a motherfucker, Rico. Come home, still talking about, oh, rat, bro, that's God. That ain't nothing but God biting you back in your bro, because you probably been thankful that you just beat a life sentence in a Rico and came home and minded your business and been humble. But instead, you still coming out pushing the rat narrative, bro, and all that, this, that, and the third. Now, look, he came back and bought you. But that ain't the key. The thing is, too, though, he brainwashed people. He still got on the bit talking about, and y'all heard it with y'all own ears. You got somebody AI, they did that in the third, and, oh, he ain't rat on nobody. Bro, if you sit down with 12 and bust out and say these words, if y'all talking about, like, Gunna ratted from saying, yes, ma'am, you mean to tell me this not making a rat by saying, they said Roscoe shot the bus up. And then a nigga like Roscoe did 10 years behind this shit. And you just got on the internet tomorrow, didn't rat on you? Boy, yo, so brainwashed is sickening. Y'all need daddy figures, and y'all be sitting back waiting on something good, waiting on something to happen. Like, yeah, I'm gonna stick around, maybe put me on, maybe I can get something out of or something did that. Like, it's so gay and weird to me, but y'all be coming on y'all be on my ass about being a real nigga. Rich, I'm not studying the internet, but I'm just letting y'all know how brainwashed and weird the world and the internet is, y'all. Come on, my brother. Roscoe, you the worstest. Twin, you worse than the rat itself. You did 10 years, twin, behind this shit, Roscoe. You did 10 years behind it, brother. And you just come on the internet and say, didn't tell on you when everybody just heard this man say your name a few times? You feel me? Hey, bro, my kids are hungry. My lights finna get cut off. I'm finna get put out. Can you help me? I bet y'all can't even call Buddy phone, but y'all happened to y'all today, wouldn't even give a damn. Y'all have to start a GoFundMe. I seen a lot of y'all, I hate to say it like this, a lot of people have died who I thought had a little something going and had to go GoFundMe. That's not cool, y'all. That's embarrassing. Y'all be on them around rich around these rap like that. Something happen to you. You start a GoFundMe. Your people gotta go start a GoFundMe. Like, bro, y'all so weird, bro. Y'all It is weird, bro. We need to start talking like, y'all really, like, gay, bro. That's gay to me, twin. Y'all sitting back waiting to be took care of like how, you know how out here scouting for niggas who got money? Y'all out here scouting for niggas who got money, so hoping and praying that they gonna take care of y'all like a bitch. That's what hoes do, twin. Do that. Thought. Y'all niggas are new thoughts. Y'all niggas on this internet are the new thoughts. Facts. Y'all are the new thoughts. And then you had a nerd talking about Rollo and this, that, and the third. Rollo taking care of his community. Rollo building. What y'all niggas done did for the community? I ain't seen y'all at no schools. Y'all niggas doing shit like that because you on community service. Y'all got to do that. Like me walking into school because I want to do that. Like my boy Takeoff. Man, do it. Look like I give a damn about being left all bad and bougie, man. Come on, man. Clothes on. I'm in my whips. I'm having my bankroll. This ain't another point blank period. So I can't be too mad. Y'all talking about I'm mad I ain't round Buddy. Or Buddy, you mad, then third. I don't want to be round Buddy. Thank God I ain't round Buddy. Because get what? I would have been caught up in a motherfucking Rico and some more. Probably lost their life or did some goof around them motherfuckers behind Buddy, man. Come on, man. I don't give a damn. Don't get mad at me. Come on, them motherfuckers keeping it real.
In the court of public opinion, nuance rarely survives. The image of Thug calling out Gunna, only to later stand accused of the same, is a bitter pill to swallow for fans who see hip-hop's no-snitch ethos as uncompromising. And so, the conversation deepens. Is this about truth or perception? About loyalty or survival? About the code or the contradictions it forces upon those who live by it? The saga of Young Thug and Gunna reveals more than individual choices. It exposes the fragility of a culture built on absolutes. Because when loyalty is demanded without context and silence is valued above all else, even the most defiant voices risk being drowned out by their own echoes. In the quiet suburbs of Woodcrest, the night air usually whispers of calm, tracing the calm before chaos. In Thank You for Not Snitching, Aaron Magruder's Boondocks paints a sharp satirical scene. Two unlikely figures, Ed Wunkler III and his war buddy Jin Rummy, slip through the darkness like wayward soldiers. They are dressed in dark gear, ready to burglarize another home. Yet this is no ordinary crime spree. Hidden in their antics are parodies of power, loyalty, and cultural strife. The episode opens on a late night in Woodcrest as Ed Wunkler III, voiced by Charlie Murphy, and Jin Rummy, voiced by Samuel L. Jackson, drive through the neighborhood in dark clothes and bulletproof vests. The pair are former Special Forces soldiers now turned blindly incompetent burglars on a mission of profit and paranoia. The next morning, the tranquil facade of Woodcrest crumbles. A rash of home break-ins has panicked the community. Granddad Freeman Robert is brutally interrogated by police after his car Dorothy is stolen from his own garage, a crime Ed and Jin committed only hours earlier. Riley stumbles upon their heist as they panic and flee, but when the police arrive, Riley and Granddad stubbornly refuse to identify the real culprits. Riley's code of honor, the stop snitching dictum, kicks in. In an ironic twist, Huey, ever the voice of reason, gently reminds Riley that refusing to speak could endanger his family. Huey even points out the absurd irony. Rappers bemoaning stop snitching often incriminate themselves with their lyrics, but Riley's loyalty is unshakable. As the episode concludes, Ed and Jin nonchalantly return, joyriding on Riley's prized bike, mockingly praising the boy. Thank you for not snitching. Jin Rummy chuckles before Ed bluntly adds, Riley stands there mute, his loyalty exploited and his innocence bruised.
It was the third house to get robbed in Woodcrest in less than a week. The police were talking to everyone on our street for clues.
Came from that area over there. Running.
Well, almost everyone.
Do they gallop still? Or he had a gallopy gait to him. Officer, I'm not finished.
Hello, sir. I'm Officer Calloway. I'm here to...
I didn't see nothing. I don't know nothing.
Right.
Cheers.
Granddad really didn't know anything about the break-ins, but his unwillingness to talk with the police is a common trait with black people. It's no secret that black people are culturally inclined against snitching.
Hey, I ain't seen nothing.
Hell no!
Man, your mama.
But recently, what was once an unwritten rule about snitching has become a full-blown stop snitching movement, complete with merchandising. Take the murder of 19-year-old Jermaine LoJack Walker, who was shot during a street basketball tournament in the middle of a summer afternoon in front of at least 300 eyewitnesses. Nobody even called the cops. They all just went home. But despite the cultural stigma against it, a whopping 1 in 12 black men in poor neighborhoods is an active informant.
You damn right, Mr. Policeman. I saw the whole thing.
That means every party, every cookout, every wedding probably has someone secretly working as an informant. Where I live, snitching is more like a recreational hobby. They even have a club for snitches. It's called the Neighborhood Watch. No snitching!
Hold it right there, boy. Woodcrest Neighborhood Watch. Now, where was you at 11 o'clock last night, huh? Huh? Come on now. Don't lie to me.
I was in bed.
No, you wasn't. I seen you with my own eye. You was robbing white people's houses, wasn't you? And, oh, look at them wheels. The law say when the bicycle stop, the wheel's supposed to stop. You need a special permit for wheels like that. Oh, come back here. I'm calling the police. Stop!
Can we bring in the army? How long will we wait on the police to protect us? Can we bring in the army?
This is a tragedy. The white man ain't never done nothing to nobody, and he don't deserve this.
Wait, everyone, please. Order. People, calm down. This is our fault. We've let the predators think we're weak.
Has the Department of Homeland Security ruled out terrorism? It was them Freeman boys. I'm telling you, you can't trust them new niggas. Yeah, I said it.
Now, Ruckus, that's crazy. If they're so innocent, why won't they talk to the police?
What did he say? Yeah, why wouldn't he?
Doesn't sound like innocent behavior to me.
Why wouldn't they want to talk to the police?
I love talking to the police.
We're gonna go check them out. If the cops won't make them talk, I'll make them talk.
Mrs. Von Hausen, the Neighborhood Watch is not a law enforcement agency. No interrogations. Now, if you visit the Freemans and ask them to join the Neighborhood Watch, that would be great. And let's all of us reach out to all our other neighbors to help us keep an eye out. Okay?
Well, that's sensible.
Right. Really? Oh, we're gonna reach out all right.
What the hell do y'all want?
We'll ask the questions around here, Robert. Ask the question, Miss Von Hausen.
I don't have time for this crap. Get out the way, old white woman.
Mr. Freeman, we are from the Woodcrest Neighborhood Watch. Now, as you know, we've had some home invasions recently. We were concerned to hear that you refused to talk to the police.
I didn't see nothing.
You tell him, Granddad, no snitching.
You've also refused our previous invitations to join the Neighborhood Watch. We could use your support. Our motto is, neighbors watching neighbors.
Oh, I'm watching all right. I'm watching this neighborhood become a bunch of damn tattletales.
Good one, Granddad. You killing them.
Property was stolen, Mr. Freeman.
Stolen.
The sanctity of our community was violated.
Tough kitty. I ain't got time for this bullshit. Boy, I'll be back tonight. Move the hell out of my
Robert, did you just touch a white woman? Sorry he touched you, Miss Van Houten. We'll make sure you get sterilized later. Whoa, you almost touched Miss Van Houten!
Stop snitching!
The animated series The Boondocks famously skewered no snitch culture in its biting episode Thank You for Not Snitching, Season 2, Episode 3, aired October 22, 2007. At first glance, the storyline plays like a comedy of errors, but beneath the humor lies a devastating critique of a code that often harms the very people it claims to protect. The episode begins when local menace Ed Wunkler III steals the Freeman's car. Police arrive to investigate, but the responses highlight the cultural divide. Riley Freeman refuses to talk, reflecting a generational mistrust of law enforcement. Huey, ever the philosopher, articulates the reasoning. Black people as a whole are not disposed to snitching because the police usually don't give enough reason to do so. He notes the irony of hip-hop's Stop Snitching campaigns, pointing out that rappers, while condemning cooperation with authorities, often end up incriminating themselves through their own lyrics. The show exposes the contradiction. Silence is glorified even when it costs safety, while self-destruction is broadcast for clout.
Hey, boy. Go to bed soon.
Good night, Granddad.
If you had a headset like mine, you could run on the phone right now. Nah, baby, I'm still here. Oh, shit!
What was that? Come on!
Word down to the gym is that he done wore the same pair of drawers for the last 3 days. And you know he played power tennis, right? Power racquetball. Then he go and lift weights.
What you see, Miss Bond? How's it?
He just hating, cause see, I ain't even tell Janet anything about what you told me.
Would you get off that f***ing phone?
Sit down, Miss Bond.
We're taking 5. Run!
Get him, Negroes, Miss Bond.
No, I'm still here, yo. Can I still come on?
Come on! You want some of this? Come on!
Power white folks. Get him, Miss Bond. That's the way. Wait, Miss Von Howden, wait. Let me have a piece of that. Come on now. Buck him down.
Riley. Hey, Riley, look, man, I need somebody to hide me. Niggas is shooting, man.
What? Shoot?
Hey! This the car that got pimped out by Exhibit.
Say, motherfucker, you on the phone? You talking to me?
I'm talking to Riley.
Hey, y'all see the new rims I got on my bike?
This thing has a push-button starter like a race car. So you wouldn't even need a key.
I know y'all niggas not trying to jack Dorothy. Whoa, whoa! What y'all do?
Oh, we just gonna borrow the car for a little while. Don't worry about it. You know, we bring it right back. We bring it right back, bruh.
Whoa, wait, hold up. Y'all can't take my granddad's car. Stop there, you can't take the car.
Whoa, this is nice.
Was that a bomb? Bin Laden mad at me, is it? Huh? Oh, sweet Jesus, they stole Dorothy, Lordy!
He saw it! He saw everything!
Riley, who did this? Damn it, hurry up, boy. Tell us who did it. Now you gonna tell me who stole my car, or I'm gonna get my belt or a 2x4 and go upside your head. Tell me who stole my car. Nobody steal my car. I paid for my car.
But what would my niggas think of me if I snitched? Wait a minute, what niggas? Hey, I got niggas. Where? In the street. What streets?
I ain't asking no more. Come here.
I can't do it, Granddad. I can't talk to the po-po. Tell Granddad. He's not the police.
That's right. You can tell me.
You promise not to tell?
I promise. I swear on your life.
You lying. That's messed up, Granddad.
Damn it, boy. Tell me who stole my car. How am I going to get my butter beans? Give me a little more time. I get out of them.
The officers have orders to take you both in for questioning. I'm sorry.
Both of us?
I'm afraid so.
Don't snitch, Granddad. They don't know nothing unless you tell them.
Damn it! Damn it! Come here! Sir, please release the child. Release the child, sir.
Ironically, despite the hip-hop community being the driving force behind the Stop Snitching movement, rappers tend to snitch on themselves a lot. In 2000, rapper Gangstalicious reportedly assaulted record executive Johnny Guinness with a tennis racket and a bottle of Hennessy on the set of a music video. Guinness refused to cooperate with authorities, but the next day, Gangstalicious made an appearance on MTV's TRF.
hold on. Dr. B. Gangsta-licious, mine's too vicious. EMC's all day, delicious. My whole crew up in this, no doubt we gon' win this. Smack up your malls like I smack Johnny Guinness. 3 o'clock yesterday, I don't care what they say. Suckers really shouldn't play, I hit them with the Hennessy.
Back at the neighborhood watch, Tom was facing an all-out revolt.
Please, people, Riley Freeman will talk, I assure you.
I say it's time we officially militarize the neighborhood watch.
No, everyone calm down. I promise you, Riley will talk soon. Do you even have a permit for that gun?
Maybe I don't. Come and pry it from my cold, dead hands. Boy.
That's what I'm talking about.
Police knew Granddad wasn't robbing the houses. What they didn't know was if he, like Riley, was withholding information.
Now, listen here, you little bitch. I'm gonna ask you some real simple questions, and I want some real simple answers. Now, you pulled into the garage and went into the house at 9:15?
Yes, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, it was 9:15.
So you pulled into the garage and went into the house at 9:15?
Yeah, 9. Yes. I looked at my watch and yes. 9:15.
So you're telling me definitely that you pulled into the garage and went into the house at 8:15?
Yes, I believe it was 8:15. Definitely.
And you see something? You know you done fucked up, right?
No. I said no. I said I pulled into the garage at...
You know you done fucked up, right?
No. I said, wait a minute. I told you I pulled into the garage.
But without Riley talking, the cops had nothing. And Riley wasn't talking.
I know y'all seen niggas with spinning rims, right? But check it. I'm saying on the bike though, and then like when I pop a wheelie, know what I mean? And that front wheel be up off the ground and keep skidding. Woo, boy, man, nigga.
Somebody get me out of here.
They just mad cause I'm out
before
here.
I shoot this fucking kid.
I be like,
One problem black people have with snitching is that the police don't necessarily protect those that come forward. Take the case of Bernard Jefferson, who helped the police shut down a local crack house.
Hey, you did the right thing.
So, do you think I might need some protection or something?
Yeah, that's more the feds thing. You'll be fine. You see anything weird, you just give us a call, all right, buddy? Okay.
Hey, Bernard! You snitch ass!
Bernard lived, but when he refused to identify the man who shot him, he was charged with conspiracy and sentenced to a month in jail.
Can't believe this little young kid's out there damn mad. Boy, get upstairs and go to your room. I'm gonna take me a nap, gonna drink me a Red Bull, then I'm gonna wake up and beat you till you decide to talk.
I did everything I could, but if Riley doesn't talk, they're both gonna be charged tomorrow.
What the hell is wrong with you? This ain't a movie, Riley. You and Granddad about to go to jail. I can't snitch. This person stole from your family. I tried to stop him.
Yeah. Hey.
May I sit down over there next to Riley? What are you guys talking about? Are you talking about who's doing the break-ins? If you know, you can tell me. I won't tell anybody.
Jasmine, are you wearing a wire?
Code Blue! Code Blue!
What the hell is this, a snitchathon? Man, there's snitches everywhere. They under the bed, too? How about the closet?
Hey there, boys. Ooh, this is uncomfortable.
My bike! Someone stole my bike!
Yo, Riley! Spinning, baby!
Eddie Rummy just stole my bike! Bitch! I can't stand it! Stole my damn bike! Hey! Come back! Bring me back, bro!
What's that, boy?
Nothing.
Where's your bike? I hope you got some insurance on those spinners. Whee! Thank you for not snitching!
Yes.
By placing a child at the center of this moral trap, the Boondocks makes the absurdity painfully clear. Riley is too young to understand the consequences, yet he is the one who pays them. His innocence highlights how easily the code is romanticized and how harshly it punishes those who take it literally. Huey's sharp observation that rap culture is saturated with stop snitching slogans, even as rappers snitch on themselves in their music, distills the hypocrisy in one cutting line. It's satire that doubles as social commentary, a culture that glorifies silence against injustice while simultaneously glamorizing self-destruction. In the end, the episode leaves us with an unsettling question. Does silence truly protect us, or does it only protect those who exploit our silence? Through humor and heartbreak, the Boondocks reveals the cost of a code that masquerades as strength, but too often leaves its followers powerless. Scholars and commentators have long tried to untangle the complexity of the no-snitching code, and their perspectives reveal that the issue is anything but simple. Law and criminology researchers stress that this refusal to cooperate with authorities cannot be understood in isolation. It must be seen in the context of loyalty, survival, and history. Legal scholar Asbury, for example, argues that what looks like silence or obstruction is often better understood as loyalty. In his law review article, he suggests that refusing to inform is not inherently deviant, but rather a natural extension of the innate human aspiration to be loyal. In everyday life, most people side with friends and family over outsiders. The complication arises when, in certain communities, the outsider happens to be the state itself. For many poor black residents, aligning with neighbors against law enforcement reflects a rational instinct to protect one's own, yet this protective instinct inevitably collides with the demands of criminal justice. Asbury's conclusion is sobering. If loyalty to the community outweighs trust in the police, then the solution lies not in condemnation, but in repair. The only way forward, he argues, is for police to strengthen the bonds of trust so that people see cooperation not as betrayal, but as another form of loyalty to safety, to community, to justice. Other researchers emphasize the lived consequences of this code on the ground. Studies of street crime, particularly in cities like Baltimore, reveal how deep mistrust shapes behavior. Many offenders interviewed reported avoiding police contact altogether, fearing that even being seen with officers would brand them as associated with the police. As one study put it, most people only snitch when they believe they have no other option, when desperation outweighs the risks, and the risks are substantial. Retaliation is not a vague threat, but a lived reality. Snitching can trigger violence, setting off a cycle of revenge that silences entire neighborhoods. This makes the code less about abstract principle and more about survival in a dangerous environment. Law enforcement research echoes these findings from a different angle. A 2009 nationwide survey by the Police Executive Research Forum found that 86% of officers reported encountering a code of silence in their jurisdictions, with nearly half specifically identifying the stop snitching ethos as an obstacle. Police chiefs warned that the culture directly impedes investigations and prosecutions, particularly in violent crimes where witnesses are most needed. Their conclusion mirrored Asbury's in one respect: building trust is essential. Without it, no amount of surveillance, policing, or pressure will make people feel safe enough to come forward. Protection programs and community assurances are seen as necessary steps, but they require time, resources, and above all, credibility, something many departments have historically squandered. Beyond the courts and the streets, black media voices have pushed the debate into moral and cultural terrain. Columnist Jamala Rogers offers a historical critique. The very meaning of snitching, she argues, was corrupted. In the days of the Black Power movement, refusing to snitch was about protecting revolutionaries and safeguarding a collective struggle against systemic oppression. But after the FBI dismantled those movements, she says, the concept was twisted. Hip-hop culture, infused with both the artistry of resistance and the market demands of gangsta rap, helped shift the term away from solidarity with liberation to solidarity with criminal enterprise. What once shielded freedom fighters was repurposed as a street gangster credo, more about preserving inner ganghood than protecting communities. This shift carries a tragic irony. A code that began as a shield against injustice has, in some contexts, become a barrier to justice. Rogers' critique highlights how cultural symbols can be hollowed out, reshaped, and then used against the very people who first wielded them. Today, the no snitching debate is not just about loyalty versus betrayal. It is about history, power, and how survival strategies evolve under pressure. As we arrive at the end of this journey, it becomes clear that the no snitching code is not a simple rule of the streets, but a knot of history, fear, loyalty, and survival. Its roots trace back to America's darkest legacies, slave patrols that police black bodies, COINTELPRO campaigns that destroyed movements for liberation, and the discriminatory policing that has long eroded faith in justice. Layered on top of this is the day-to-day reality of street life, where silence can mean survival, and speaking up can mean a target on one's back. This is why the code has endured. It persists not only out of fear, but also out of loyalty. Loyalty to family, to community, to the people who stand beside you when the state feels like an enemy. We've heard Huey Freeman's sharp satire in the Boondocks, watched Riley embody the tragic cost of misplaced allegiance, and seen how real-life cases like 6ix9ine, Gunna, and Young Thug reveal the contradictions at play when the line between loyalty and betrayal is tested in public. Scholars remind us that silence can be understood as a natural human impulse to protect one's own, while cultural critics warn that the meaning of snitching has been twisted from a shield for freedom fighters into a slogan for street bravado. And so, we are left with a difficult, unresolved question. Is this code of silence a necessary shield for vulnerable communities, or has it become a dangerous barrier to justice? The answers diverge. Some voices within the community speak with urgency, warning that the rule is actively killing people in the community and will continue to be one of the reasons why criminal activity continues to be a problem. Others caution that until trust in law enforcement is truly repaired, refusal to cooperate must be met with empathy rather than condemnation, because silence is often born of survival. Perhaps the truth is both. The code of silence is a shield, protecting those who feel abandoned by the institutions meant to serve them. But it is also a wall, one that lets perpetrators walk free, one that leaves victims without justice, one that deepens cycles of harm. To break that cycle will take more than lectures or slogans. It will require rebuilding trust, reshaping systems, and proving that justice can be something more than another form of betrayal. Until then, no snitching will remain what it has always been, a mirror reflecting both the wounds of history and the fragile hope that loyalty, even in silence, can keep a community alive.